Good afternoon, dear students. I am Revan Siddhappa MB, Assistant Professor, Government First Grade College, Nyamati, Davangere. And this is the fifth session of sixth semester BA Optional English. It is an elective paper, paper number 9, 20th Century Literatures, first. This is the learning objective to enable the students to appreciate the poem The Hollow Man. The session outcomes of this session is our students will be able to understand the hollow men and their location, and the second outcome is that of students will comprehend the irony of the world's end. These are the two outcomes that we are going to see at the end of this session. Okay, dear students, during the last session we have discussed these three important concepts: Charon's fear, observation of column and tree, Death's other kingdom. See, Charon is a character in Dante Alighieri's poem Inferno. He is the ferryman who took the souls of the dead people across the river Styx. And these hollow men are not ready to face the eyes of Chiron or the god's eyes or the souls which are already taken across the river, because they could better understood, or they can understand how these people have led their life of inaction. They are ashamed of their life itself. Okay, that is the concept we discussed in the last session. And the second conception is that there is the sunlight. Sun itself is the symbol of God. It is the symbol of hope. But it is unfortunate, and these people are unfortunate because that sunlight falls only on the broken columns. Broken columns. This phrase is being used in the last stanza. See, broken columns refers to the fallen European civilization, and there is no hope of its rebirth. That is what is being said. And apart from that, we also know that these hollow men cannot make any good communication. Their communication is almost meaningless. If when the wind blows, the tree makes certain rustling sound. Whatever these hollow men speak will be equal to that only, and it is totally meaningless, helpless, useless, you may call. And death's other kingdom. See, coming to this concept, these inactive people and passive people have made the world into the death's other kingdom. So it is the land of cactus, it is the sterile land, wasteland that we discussed during the last session. So this is the picture of the hollow man. It is used for scarecrows. Now let me directly go for the section 4th of this poem. Section 4th begins by these lines: the eyes are not here, there are no eyes here. In the valley of dying stars, in this hollow valley, this broken jaw of our lost kingdoms. See, in the first two lines, it is made very clear that these hollow men are blind. Okay, they are blind, and there are no eyes here, and eyes are not here. Look at this. Look at these two lines. They have no vision, and they are describing vacant, desolate surroundings in which there are no eyes, and they are afraid to look at people or to be looked at. This is a wonderful thing. So, as these people are said to be the hollow people, there is the only hope, but that hope is seen in the phrase like stars. Star is the symbol of hope, but it is unfortunate, it is dying. In this valley of dying stars, that hope is also dying, and there is no hope for these hollow men. And as these hollow men are there in that valley is also called as the Hollow Valley. So here they are vacillating between the religious faith and despair. Look at this thing. There is no good connection between God with that of man, and this condition is called the spiritual death. And these hollow men are in that space of spiritual death uh, space. Okay, and these people are blind, that is being shown in this picture. Apart from that, there is also the river Acheran, and I will describe it later on that you come to know this river in the next few lines. And this is the last meeting place for them. Okay, but they are groping together, and they avoid speech, gathered on the beach of the Tumid river. So in these lines we come to know that Tumid river is a reference to Dante Alighieri's Inferno Canto 3. Here we are going to see there are so many souls waiting to be ferried across the river Acheran by Chiron. Okay, see, that is the Tumid river. All these people have gathered on that spot. Okay, they are waiting whether the ferrymen would take their souls across the river, but it is unfortunate, and such souls could not be taken across. Okay, see, here he says that dimly lit valley of dying stars, hope continues to fade. Life is like a piece of broken jar. Wonderful line. See, they are incapable of self-expression. It is the beauty of human being. Beauty of human being lies in their communicative speech, but it is very unfortunate they have broken jaws. They can communicate nothing at all. Okay, and this is what is being said here. There is the darkness covered and the sightless unless the eyes reappear as the perpetual star multifoliate rose. The poem goes on like that. They are totally blind. They are blind in the sense they are not spiritual, and they have not led a life of action. They led a life of inaction and passivity, and they are away from spirituality, so they have lost their sights. And there is a hope once again, as the perpetual star. See, only they can get back their eyesight by the grace of God, but that is also not quite possible for these people, and they are hopeless and helpless, and they are despondent. See, here is the phrase multifoliate rose. Multifoliate rose is a reference made by Dante in his poem. See, when after his death uh, his soul goes away. Then he had met Beatrice, and who had guided him properly. Okay, so then he had seen multifoliate rows of saints. Okay, see, this is the thing, this is the hope, but such hope is absent for these people of death's twilight kingdom. Look at this thing, death's twilight kingdom, it is the God's kingdom, and that is not quite possible for these people, because the ferryman Charon will not take them across that river Acheron, and it is the only hope, it is the hope only of empty men. See, here hope is desperately impossible for them. So this is being described in this poem. Now let us go for the fifth section of the poem. This begins by one nursery songs parody. So here we go around the prickly pear, prickly pear, prickly pear. Here we go around the prickly pear at 5 o'clock in the morning. Look at this thing. It is the parody of the Mulberry Bush rhyme song, which is being sung by the children. But it is unfortunately this is they are early in the morning at 5 o'clock. These hollow men are singing around that prickly pear. Prickly pear is a thorny plant that is being seen in this picture, see, it is full of thorns, and they are going around singing around that prickly pear. It is a very dangerous thing. Okay, so it is derived from fertility dance, dancing around the mulberry bush. But it is the irony, it's modern infertility dance in the early morning projects both pagan spirituality and Christian salvation. So this is the um, connotation of this poem or this particular stanza. See, next we are going to see the description of shadow. Uh, Shadow is usually a symbol of death, and then anxiety and despair. See, the effects of shadow that are being seen in the next three consecutive stanzas of the poem. He says that shadow prevents acting on their ideas. It doesn't allow them to act upon their ideas. At the same time, the shadow prevents people from satisfying their desires. It means to say shadow is more powerful uh, than anything for these hollow men. And in the next stanza, we come to know that for thine is the kingdom. So this is the last line written in italics. It states that it is the state of frustration. They are totally frustrated by being having such condition and spent their life meaninglessly. And then in the next two stanzas, where the poem goes more philosophical, and we come to know that shadow prevents their execution of ideas. It prevents their execution of their ideas, and it stops their action on their feelings. See, it is to say it is more powerful than these people, and the shadow almost controls these people. And in the next stanza, we come to know that the shadow interrupts the connection between sexual desire and orgasm. It relates bodily pleasures and sexual desire. It also controls this action. Okay, and then we come to know that it also controls their existence from the potency, descends from an essence. See, it is to say God can set all these things right, but He has more authority. But for these people, God is absent, because God can never correct them, because they are not ready to go there, or at least because of their sins committed, because of their divide of spirituality, because of their despondent life, because of their inactive life. It is not possible for these people to get such blessings of God. And instead they go on incomplete, they go on speaking some incomplete lines like, for thine is life is, for thine is thee. Look at these things. See, they are not able to complete the sentences as the whole, and it refers to the broken cut jar. That is the word we have seen in the last section of this poem. Okay, and the poem, and in these lines we come to know that these people have no capacity to pray, and they cannot pray at all, and they die by frustration. They are totally helpless. They are totally helpless. And the last four lines are actually very, very important, and this is a kind of apocalypse, or how the world ends, that is being said here. This is the way the world ends, this is the way the world ends, this is the way the world ends. In these three lines, the same thing is being repeated by these people. And at the last thing, we are going to say, not with a bang, but a whimper. So this is the prediction of these hollow men. How the world ends, according to the hollow men, it is not with a big bang, but with a whimper. They are not lost or violent souls. There is nothing dramatic, and especially in their death, There is no big bang or violent conclusion. They are slowly fading away. They are losing their capacity to act in this world, so that they predict in such a way the world will end not with a bang but with a whimper. So this is the end of the poem, and it is the ironical ending that we are going to see. Thank you.